Well, hello everyone. Happy Monday and welcome to Lisa Horton Crafts. I'm Sheryl and I am here to share another card that I made with some of Lisa's beautiful project products. I hope that you're having a great start to your week so far. Um, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see, who do we have joining us today? Oh, Sue's going to be catching up later. Roadrunner, hello. Glad you're here. Lorraine and Trudy and Paula, Gloria and Debbie. So, good evening or good afternoon to everyone, depending upon where you are. Thank you for joining. And let me get my phone set here. It's kind of slipping around. Okay. So thank you all for being here. I'm so happy to have the company. Hi, Jacinda. So let's see. These are the products that I'm going to be working with today. I've got the layered wildflowers from Lisa's Spellbinders Wildflower collection. So I'll be using this flower in the card today. And then I've got lots of die cuts today. I've got the Fundamentals Nested Circles. So I'll be using one of the circles from this. And then I have the Floribunda Elements dies and embossing folder, and I'm going to use that for the vase. And then for my sentiments, I chose Thinking of You from the Fabulous Fonts Stamps and Dies. And then the other background embossing folder I'm using is the Padded Quilt. So those are these products. And then for my inks, I'm using two metallic inks. I've got Fool's Gold and Solid Gold. So these are the products that I'm going to be working with today. And I'll move these over here to the side and show you the sample that I made. Hi, Gloria and Fedugina and let's see, Gloria. Oh, my shoulder, it's doing so much better. It's still, I don't have full range of motion yet, but I do have a pretty good motion. So I'm feeling pretty good. So thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Okay, so this is the card that I made, and I'll be remaking that for us during today's live. So let me put that over here, and I'm going to start. One of the first things I want to do is create this small gold panel. So I did that with some gold ink. I just smushed it, took my ink pad and smushed it over this panel here. I just kept going across it. Trying to turn it around there and keep inking so that I don't have a line there. And it doesn't matter a whole lot because I'm going to end up, let me turn this around a little bit. There we go. I'm going to spritz it with a little bit of water just because it's going to go through the embossing folder here, the padded quilt embossing folder, and I wanted to have my cardstock damp a little bit. So I just take one of Lisa's bottles and just give it a light spritz here. And then I think I'll just take a tissue and dampen that. Just grab that up. And so, oh, you can tell the difference in my ink pads already. I had to re-ink my pad after I made my card last night because the pad was pretty dry. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and put this into the folder here. And I'll run this through my embossing machine, my Lisa Horton Platinum 6 die cut and emboss machine. This still doesn't have a name. I know, shame on me. And she's my pretty girl. That's all I call her. Okay, so we've got our embossing on here. And it came out nice with no cracks since it was nice and damp. And then let's see, I've done some other work ahead of time. I cut this piece. This is 1 3/4 inch by 5 1/4. And then I have my black piece. Oh, the next thing I want to do before we go through all the stuff I've pre-done, I want to work on my vase. And so I'm going to take the gold ink. Yes, Fettuccine, it is water reactive. That ink, this ink is, and it's gorgeous. And I'm trying to get a good amount of ink onto this brush, and then I'm just making some dots, or I don't know, just jabbing the ink pad or the brush onto this little piece of paper. I just want a little bit of texture because this is going to be my flower pot. Hi Jean, how are you? Hi Lorraine. Okay, so I'm going to now take my die cut, because this is from the Floribunda Elements, and I'm just going to take the die, and I'm going to use the die and the embossing folder. Comes as a set. And what I want to do, I'm sorry, I should have taken these out of the paper ahead of time, but wasn't thinking ahead. And so then I'm just going to stick this under here and see where I like it best. And I'm thinking maybe here. Okay, so I'll just put some tape on the back of this, and then I'll just run it through my die cutting machine. I got to change my plates out. And I'll run this through. Okay. And here's our little flower pot. And then I'm going to take that and change my plates again and take the embossing folder and run it through. So let me get the embossing folder. There we go. And we'll just put this in here and line up our die cut so that it's even all around the edges. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I'll run this through the embossing machine, and we'll have our pot ready. There we go. So we got a little bit of antiquing, I guess, or I don't know, some just texture on that flower pot so that it's not plain. And then let me pull out the other parts of this card. Excuse me. I did do a lot of this die cutting ahead of time. So I have my big panel. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And I cut this using the padded quilt. And then I've got my circle that I'll use to mount my flowers in my flower pot. And this was cut from the Nested Circles, the Fundamentals die set. And then I've got some flowers, and some of the flowers are done and some of them are not. So we'll be putting some flowers together too. So let's see, I think what I'll do is go ahead and get these parts together, and then I will start working on the flowers in the flower pot. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some tape. I think the tape is covering this pretty well, so I didn't feel uncomfortable using tape instead of glue, but either one obviously will work. And hi, Lorraine, how are you? And hi, Irma from Southern California. Oh, nice. I have a couple of friends and family that live in California, but they're not in Southern California. One of them is up in the desert, and the other one is in San Francisco. Okay, so we've got our padded quilt on, and then I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to try to line it up. I might not be able to do that given how I cut this. Well, yeah, I can just do it. I'll just have a smaller border, but on the left, but that's okay. I think it'll still work out just fine. Okay. And let's see if I can get this lined up correctly. My eyeballs keep wanting to move things. So there we go. So that is our background. And then we'll start working on the flowers. I did do 2 of the flowers already. I die cut these in white cardstock, and then this is my sentiment that I inked and die cut. And I die cut some leaves. I'm not sure how many I'm going to need, but it depends on how I put them in there. And then I did the 3, and then I just took 3 flower stems. The 3, it's 1 die and it has all 3 stems on it. So I just use that, and I'm going to cut them. I'm trying to get them in kind of in the order that I want them in the pot. It'd be like that. Okay, so those are the die cuts that we have. And then we need to put this flower together, and we just need to glue these 2 pieces together. But before I glue this piece on, I need to add some fool's gold to it. So let me grab my little scrap of paper and my fool's gold ink. Let me see. Come on. There we go. All right. And I need to practice using tweezers. I can't use tweezers. I haven't been very successful. And then I just add some fool's gold just to give it a, I wanted to stay gold, but I wanted a different color. So this one worked out perfectly for what I wanted. Ooh, Santa Cruz and San Francisco. Very nice, Lorraine. I said, I'm glad to have family out there. I get to go and visit, and I get to stay with them and don't have to pay for a hotel. So that's always nice. I like going out there to visit. Yeah, my best friend in life lives in the desert, and I love going out there to visit her. Okay, let me get my glue. It's beautiful, and it's not as hot as I thought it would be. Of course, I've only gone during the late fall, winter months, so I don't know what she says. It gets pretty hot out there, but when I've been there, it's just been beautiful weather. Okay, so I got a little bit of glue coming out, and I'll go ahead and add some glue to the chips here. Okay, there we go. And just I think I got it up to the edge. Yeah, I did. Okay. So then I'll add some glue to the flower center and add this on there. And put this on the flower center. And that's what I did for all three of the flowers, the other two. So now what I want is I need to make a little hole, a slit in my flower pot. So I took an X-Acto knife and just cut a little slit into the center of the flower pot so I can slide my flower stems in there. And me and this knife, it doesn't need to be very long, but you want it long enough at least that the three stems will get through there. Uh-oh, my blade is loosening up on me. I don't want that. There we go. Let's put that back in there. And okay, so I've got a little slit in there. Let me do the back of it too, just to be sure I got a nice hole in there. Make it a little bit longer. Okay, so we've got our slit for our leaves. Put this back on there. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is put the stems down in there. Excuse me. Put this back on there before it starts drying out. There we go. And I'll just, where's my little pokey tool thing? There we go. Use that just to widen it so it's easier for these little stems to slide down in there. So I just slide all three of them down in and get them, and then I'll arrange the height after I get them all in there and then cut it. So I just want the one in the middle to be higher. I know for sure. And then I kind of test out. No, wrong one. Push this one down a little bit. And then grab this other one and stick it in there too. There we go. Oh, I'm losing my stems. It's not nearly as fiddly as I'm making it seem. Sorry about that. Okay, and then the one thing that I did do was kind of fit where I wanted this to be on the card so that I would know if that's going to work for my, yep, that'll work. So that's going to work out just fine. So push this one down a little bit and that one down a little bit. And then I'll come on the back and add some foam squares, and that'll keep everything in place. And then we can, oops, try not to have a landslide back there. I don't have to hold that. Okay, so I've got some foam squares here, and I'm just going to use one of the foam squares right here to keep these guys in place, and then I'll take my snips and trim that off. I'm going to leave a little bit just in case I get something wrong. Okay, get that out of the way. All right, so now I want to go ahead and add my flowers to my stems. So I'll just put a little glue. Let me do this one first. Little glue on the stem. And stick a flower on there. Oops. And I'll pull these out. And I'll stick flowers on them. This one probably needs to be a teeny bit shorter. Well, it doesn't matter, I don't guess, but then I'll add some glue to this stem and put another flower on there. And you can do this if you use a larger card, you can have more stem showing, or if you just want more stem, you can move it down. If you want more stem showing, I wanted it to look more like a bunch of flowers hanging in the pot. Okay, this one could have been up just a little. Oops, we lost my flower. Moved it too quick. Okay. And this guy. I can pull this up because I want to pull my center one up just a little bit. just a teeny weeny bit there. And then I could reuse that, but I'm not gonna. Okay, so then I'll put, and then I'll just put some foam squares all across the back here because it's going to be mounted a little higher for some extra dimension. And I could probably cut some of these because I don't need as much as it looks like I'm going to end up using. Maybe, yeah, that'll be good. And then I want these flowers for sure. And maybe one more little piece over here. I always use way more than I need, but I can't help it. That's this thing I have. Okay, so now I need to decide. I've got a little piece of my die. When I cut that, get that off of there. Let's see. Do I want a leaf or no? I think I want a leaf for sure. But where do I want it to go? Maybe we'll stick it down in there like that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we'll add the leaf. I don't think we need all three. One will be fine. So I'll put a little bit of glue on the front of this and stick it back in there. Oh, I agree, Lorraine. I love dimension. Okay. So there we go. So that's our little flower pot. Excuse me. Sorry for constantly clearing my throat. I've got little froggies today. So I'm going to put my sentiment down first, and then I'll do my circle, and then I'll add the flower pot. And I just kind of center it here. Guess that's straight. Let me pick this up for a second. Yeah, that looks pretty straight. Okay, and then I will add my circle probably right in there. Just adding some glue to the back of my die cut. Hold that down for a second or two. Let that adhere since there's different textures there. And then we can add our flower pots. I got to pull off all these little stickers. I got a lot of them. Of course. I wonder if I could. All right, I don't want to tear my vase up trying to get that one off. I never think to start these after I put them down, so it's easier when I'm ready to take them apart. But okay, so now we just want to put this in the center of our circle, like so. And then the last little bit of embellishment we'll do is I've got some, these are diamond stickles, and I'll put some around the base and the top of the, put this pin back on. And where's my little scrap piece of paper? Oh, here's one. This will do. I just want to make sure of how it's going to come out. Okay. And then around this part of the base of the, I'm just adding these little diamond stickles, and it just gives it a little bit of sparkle onto our little antiqued vase. And then I'm just going around this rim up here, doing the same thing. Just dotting them around. And there you go. So those are our two cards made with the layered wildflowers and a few of Lisa's other products. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Be sure to tune in. I'm not sure who's going to be live tomorrow, if it's Claire or Paula. And then, of course, Lisa will be with us on Friday evening as usual. But thank you again. And I hope that you have a fantastic week, and we will see you next week. Okay, bye for now.